Okay, next time you're in a supermarket, just pause for a second and look down the aisle. What you're seeing isn't just a bunch of products, it's a battlefield. Seriously, it's this silent, intense war for a few inches of your attention. Every single box and bottle is fighting to get seen, to be considered, and ultimately to end up in your cart. So let's dive into this battle for the shelf and figure out exactly how the winners win.
It really boils down to this brutal, simple truth of retail. In today's ridiculously crowded stores, having a great product just isn't enough. Marketing it on TV, also not enough. If your brand gets lost in all that visual noise on the shelf, it might as well not even be there. Getting noticed is the first and honestly the most critical step to making a sale.
And you have to get noticed fast. I mean, really, really fast. Research shows that the median time a shopper spends making a decision in any given category is just 8.5 seconds. That's from the moment they turn down the aisle, scan everything, and make a choice. That's the entire window you get.
That's the billion-dollar question, right? How do you win what's basically a cognitive gauntlet? Well, it's not about luck, it's about science. It's about understanding how shoppers' brains are actually wired to see and process a super crowded shelf. See, to win the shelf, you first have to get your head around the two basic mental states, or you could call them gears, that our brains use to deal with all that visual clutter. It's not one smooth process. Our brain is actually shifting really fast between two totally different ways of operating. Let's break down these two gears. First up, you've got the where state. Think of this as your brain's super fast radar. Its only job is to ask, where are the things I might care about? It's quick, but it's not super detailed. Then, once it spots something that seems interesting, your brain shifts gears into the what state. This is a much slower, more careful process. It asks the next question. Okay, what is this thing I'm looking at? To win, your brand has to succeed at both. It has to be found, and then it has to be understood. So let's start right there. To win the purchase, you have to win that initial, frantic where state. This is where the battle is so often won or lost in just that first glance. And that initial challenge is just immense. The sheer volume of products, all the different sizes, private labels, copycats, it means that just being located is a huge task for any brand. So where does the power to get seen actually come from? We might think it's all about those huge ad campaigns, but the data here shows something kind of surprising. A full 2/3 of a brand's ability to stand out, what we call its salience, is decided by what happens in the store. Only a third comes from stuff like TV ads. The real action is right there, at the point of purchase. So what are these super powerful in-store factors? Well, they're the tools you can use to create what researchers call visual lift. Basically, the extra attention a brand gets just from being noticed. The big levers here are a product's position on the shelf, its physical size, and its visual pop, which comes from things like color and contrast. These are the things that grab the eye during that split-second where state scan. And the impact of these factors is absolutely staggering. I mean, just look at this data on shelf position. A product placed right in the center of a shelf is seen by a whopping 92% of shoppers. 92%! But move that same product to the end of the aisle, and that number plummets to just 52%. That's a 40-point drop in visibility just from changing its location. Location isn't just everything. In this game, it's almost everything. Okay, so you've won the where state. Your product has been seen. Awesome. But now the what state kicks in. The shopper is looking right at your package and asking, what is this? Do I want it? And this is where brand managers face a really critical strategic choice. So here's the dilemma. Do you design your package for high novelty or high familiarity? A totally new radical design is great at grabbing new buyers. Its novelty cuts right through the clutter, but you risk confusing your loyal customers, the ones scanning the shelf for that familiar look they already know and love. On the flip side, a familiar design makes it super easy for your loyalists to find you, but you might be completely invisible to potential new customers who are just scanning for something new. So how do you choose? Well, the research gives us a pretty clear guide. In a highly competitive, super noisy category, like say breakfast cereal, you pretty much have to be strikingly different. Novelty is what gets you noticed. But in a more stable, smaller category like flour or salt, it's actually better to be consistent with your established brand meaning. In that case, playing on what shoppers already know and expect from you is the smarter move. All right, let's tie all of this together. We've gone through the whole cognitive gauntlet, from that first glance to the final choice. So here's a simple 5-point checklist to help your brand cross the finish line and actually land in the shopping cart. Let's walk through it real quick. Number 1, win the where state.
Above all else, just get seen. It's job one. Number two, invest in store. Remember, 2/3 of your power is right there at the shelf. Number three, size up and clutter. When that shelf is packed, a bigger package is like a magnet for eyeballs. Number four, calibrate your novelty. Make a conscious choice. Are you going to be strikingly different or comfortingly familiar? It depends on your category. And finally, number five, treat gaze as gold. Because at the end of the day, the single biggest predictor of a sale is simply whether your product was even looked at.
You know, this isn't some new idea. This quote from nearly a century ago captures the timeless power of packaging perfectly. It really is your silent salesperson. It's out there, working 24/7, making the case for your product in just a few crucial seconds. So, I'll leave you with this question. When a shopper glances at your product for just a fraction of a second, what is your salesperson saying? Is it shouting to be seen, or is it getting lost in the crowd? Because in the battle for the shelf, that split-second message makes all the difference.